All right, so my name is Christy, and I founded Prestige Event Service. And what really got me into the industry, I know most of you here, but I know a lot of you do not know like how Prestige even came about. So I'd really like to get into that a little bit. Going to go into like how you can stand out as a brand, you know, in the industry. So what really got me going was I was a cocktail waitress at Choctaw, actually, and I had no prior bar, like nothing. Totally got introduced to alcohol. Well, okay, I can't really say that because, you know, high school and having an older brother, whatever. But for the whole industry, that's how I got, you know, into it. Then I started bartending when I was actually pregnant with this one over here. And that's really introduced me to that and how I just came about into the whole industry. I'm currently also in school for digital marketing, so I'm actually planning on starting my own marketing company. I do have one more year left in school, so I'm getting to be more comfortable and like really figuring out my niche that I want to really do within the event industry still. I want to help event professionals. I want to help my fellow frienders out with their marketing. I have also franchised a lemonade business as well, but you can ask me about that later because I'm not here to talk about lemonade. But I really hope that you can get some nuggets from my journey. So yeah, you know, and how I started in the wedding industry. So going from bar to business owner was a crazy transition, but it's been fun. I was just bartending at a bar. It was actually a bowling alley, and then we had karaoke on Fridays. And the DJ there, I knew that he did weddings. I knew that he did events. And so I asked him, I was like, hey, like, how can I start doing events being a bartender? He's like, oh, you can just work off your TABC. And I was like, okay. So I literally went home that night, I did research, and come to find out you need insurance too. So I, you know, looked up some insurances and how I could really like jump in and get there. I ordered business cards that same night that literally just said professional bartender. I didn't even have a name yet. So I really just was going as a professional bartender because I had been doing this for maybe 3 years now. So I had some good experience at that time. And the first wedding venue that actually gave me a chance was River Road Chateau. I don't know if any of you have been there, but it's way out in Anna. It's not Chateau anymore. They actually changed owners. But let me backtrack a little bit. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So after ordering business cards, after ordering some equipment, after everything came in, I actually just started posting on my personal Facebook page. And I'm like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Tell your friends and family, you know, it got out there. And my friends started sharing it. It got around to this couple, and they called me and they're like, hey, like, we have mutual friends. Like, I seen your post. We would love to support you and for us to be your first client. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, cool. Like, we're gonna do this. Like, this is happening. And their wedding was November 4th of 2017. And it's crazy the growth because looking back, I actually have a picture on the next slide of that event. And it's crazy the setup that I had then versus the setup that I have now. It's fun to see, you know, and of course there's challenges. We all have challenges with pricing at first. You know, the pricing is really, wow. Just to kind of put it into perspective, that first wedding, I supplied the cups, I supplied the sodas, the mixers. I mean, Shannon, I know I know the pricing is just kind of, we don't know where to start yet. And I provided all those things, they provided the alcohol, and I maybe charged a little under $300 for that event. I even brought ice. Yeah. I had no idea. where to start, but I started and I got in there. And I'm very thankful for the venue to give me that chance, because this was my very first one. And it's hard being a bar service, getting into these venues. And I'm very thankful for that. And the deciding what packages to do, even how to price that, and then the marketing. I had no idea. I was just posting on Facebook. I actually turned my personal Instagram page. I changed the name to Prestige Bartending. That's when I had realized that, before I got the name, I was really trying to come up with a name, and Prestige Bartending came up, and Prestige Bartending Service was just that. I was a solo. I had no one else with me except for my friends that bartended with me. And, I know I did not have a mentor at all. I didn't have guidance. I have no one to ask in the industry, hey, what should I do? And this is my very first event, and this is my ice bucket to serve ice out of. Those tin ice. I had no idea. I've never done an event. I didn't know how it's supposed to go. I really didn't know what I was doing business-wise. I did have a contract, though. So I knew I needed that, but it was a one page. And I got a one-day insurance event helper. Was good there for a little while. Went from one day insurance, and now we have a yearly insurance. Lots of growth, lots of learning curves through that time. And that my pricing was a disaster, and it was only a side hustle at the time. I was still working somewhere else for 4 years while I had the company. So and sometimes it is about the unbranding. So in 2018, shortly after my first event, Prestige Bartending Service, I found a guy that did caricature art on Facebook, because I wanted me out there. I'm like, hey, it's me. I'm representing my brand. This is it. And got into doing, the open houses at River Road Chateau. That's where I got a lot of my clients, a lot of experience from just doing the weddings out there. I met a lady, Amy, thank you, Lucero, that was hosting bridal shows. And I know we go way back to doing those bridal shows together. And, that's just how I'm building my experience in the industry, is getting, doing all the things of being a part of those open houses. And, the bridal shows really helped with my experience. And the marketing. I had to do my own marketing. I had to do my own, flyers that I made, all the things. But I had no idea what I was doing. But, there's growing pains. And back, 2020 comes along. We all know what happened in 2020. I don't want to get into it, but because we all know. But, that first 6 months, nothing. But I did have a bride that kept wanting to do her wedding. And that was in June. She still wanted her wedding. It was a small crowd anyway, but she was like, no, I'm not pushing my wedding back. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so that actually helped kick off that year. So I started doing some more throughout 2020, and then 2021 comes around. And in August of 2021, I was on the beach. And at that time, I was working at a place that did not adhere to the schedule that I needed to focus on my business. So I decided to go full-on entrepreneurship back in August of 2021. And I knew I needed to invest that time, invest money into my business. So I did just that. I got really, really heavy into networking. I was super scared at first. I didn't know how to just jump in a circle and be like, hey, I'm Christy. What do you like? I'm a bartender. I do all this, the whole spiel, give my spiel. But as you network more and more, you kind of get out of your shell a little bit. And that's how I was able to. And that's how I'm like standing with you right now, because I started networking. And 2022 comes around, and I bring my best friend Angel on. I don't know if any of you, a lot of you have met Angel, but he wanted to start his own company. And I'm like, do it. I'm here for you. I'm supporting you. And then we actually did we sponsored the bar for a networking event, WVA, Wedding Vendor Association. We did the bar that day, and I had a feeling to just ask him. I'm like, hey man, like, you just need to come on and own this with me. And he's like, I wanted to ask you, but I didn't know how to ask. So he joined, which the next logo came in 2022. We rebranded the whole company. At this point, we wanted to offer more than just bartending services. We wanted to bring a brand that can offer more and not just be secluded and just bar. So got a new logo, started getting staff, started getting a little bit busier. We joined the Allen Chamber of Commerce. We joined SWP. Lucero, thank you for that introduction. We were just networking so heavy that I'm on the board of SWP now, Society of Wedding Professionals, if you didn't know. And then that was our first year to even go to Vegas and go to Wedding MBA, and just really learning more about the business side. Like, I have learned a lot in that time, but learning more and really like niching our whole strategy behind it. And since we were growing our team, this next logo 2023 comes up. I created it, and I didn't have a good feeling about it, but it's there, it's happened, and it's out there. But that's okay, because sometimes we have to embrace those imperfections of our company. We're still trying to find, like, how they're always talking about, like, you need to find your colors, you need to you need to have this logo, and it's so much pressure on us a lot as a business owner that it's like, okay, like, here we go, purple, because purple's my favorite color, let's go. We got a drink on there, but it's also a mocktail because that's what we do, and building a team. But you know what, eventually, like, that 2023 was bad. I will say it was so slow, but we were still heavily networking. And we lost a lot of staff that year. I will be honest about that. I wouldn't want to work at a company that I'm not even working at. So lost a lot of them. But then 2024 comes around. I start school back in January of 2024. And I'm like, man, like, I really want to change our logo. Like, I'm so tired of looking at this logo. It needs to be changed. So I'm playing on Canva, and I come up with our permanent logo, which I absolutely love now. And it fits. It fits the Prestige brand. That is Prestige. We are, a liquid catering company. We now, like, we handcraft all of our, mixers, everything. And I've built up my staff that year. I built it up, and now in 2025, I have 24 on my staff now. And we have event staffing, so they're ready to do whatever, and then we have the bar side. So sometimes it's about unbranding to get to where it's meant to be, So turning that passion into prestige. So going back 2022, Angel comes on, and we're like, man, we want to be different than any other bar service around. We need to start handcrafting these mixers. So we have our own margarita mix, like, we juice everything, like, we have a whole juicer, and I love that side. It brings that mixology into it, and I just love that. I wanted to really hone in on that craft, because I love creating new flavors. Even being a dessert vendor, you just creating new flavors and putting them together. I absolutely love it, and creating that experience for our clients. And I'm sure a lot of you realize, a lot more people are health conscious now. They don't want concentrated dyes. That red 40 is really out there, and it's really affecting people. And I was actually at the open house at the Nature and Retreat Center, and there was this couple that came up, and I'm over here giving the spiel. We handcraft everything, and the bride, soon-to-be bride, she was like, "Wow, I really value that because I have an autoimmune disorder, and I really can't have all this concentrate. I can't do a lot of the dyes, so I really appreciate you doing that." And I'm like, that is why I do this, because I know that matters to people. And you can turn your passion into prestige too, but not my company, but So with that being said, I don't know if any of you know the definition of prestige, but it's a widespread respect and admiration felt for someone or something on the basis of a perception of their achievements or quality. Prestige in that quality. Giving your clients that quality. That's going to make your brand stand out. They're going to remember you. They're going to know what it felt like when they first inquired with you. They're going to know what that felt like on that day of their wedding day or whatever event it is. They're going to remember that. And so, on the basis of that, yes, the experience. I love doing this. That was so much fun. I love it when my creative juices can flow. But giving them that experience, what do you want your clients to say about you with the whole experience? Like for us, I want that fast communication. As soon as they inquire, I want to get to them as soon as I humanly possibly can. And a lot of people appreciate that. Like even when I call them, I ask them on the inquiry form, like, how do you want to have this communication? Do you want an email? Do you want a text? Do you want a call? Whatever they put on there, that's what I'm doing. If they want a call, I'm like, okay, well, I'm giving them a call because that's what they want. That's how they want to be communicated with. So I make sure to do that. And are we helpful throughout the whole experience? I want to be helpful. I want them to remember that I was helping them. A lot of people don't buy alcohol and things for 200 people every weekend. Like they don't do that. And they're like, no, we don't. I want to help you. I'm going to give you a detailed shopping list. I'm going to guide you into the right direction because I know you don't do this all the time. And they appreciate that. Another thing, on event day, I want to give them that wow factor. I want to give them that wow factor, like, wow, I wouldn't even think to do that. Like, I love that. Show up. Networking. Y'all are here. Y'all showed up. I'm going to remember your faces. And, me, when I started networking, I was going by myself to places, and I'm just showing up. I'm showing my face. I'm showing people that I am not going anywhere. Prestige is not going anywhere. We are here to stay. We're here to stand out as much as we can. And I don't know what else to say, but just to network, really. And that's all I have today, to be honest with you. I would love to answer, any questions if y'all have any, like, about me, about my company, about the lemonade. I'm happy to talk about that now.
So what made you start doing the handcrafting itself? What turned you onto that?
So myself personally, I can't be on this side of the bar and get a mixed drink. It hurts me internally. It hurts my chest. I get acid reflux. And come to find out, my blood sugar actually skyrockets. It goes high, and so my chest, there's a pain in my chest, and then it hurts my stomach. And I'm like, I've noticed more and more people, it hurts them, and I don't want them hurting while they're trying to have a good time, So thank you for asking that.
Well, I'm going to make a comment to that because
okay.
I love my vodka, and I love my whatever.
Yeah.
But when I get a mixed drink at a restaurant or a bar, later on you have that deal. But every time we've had something from you at one of the events that you're hosting and sponsoring the little bar over there, I never have an issue. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love that.
And I didn't make that connection until you just said it. So
yeah.
That's perfect.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you.
It's true.
Well, Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate y'all being here and hearing me and my story, and I really hope that you got a little something from that today. So, thanks.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure having you today. Thank you, Christy, for speaking today.
Thanks, thank you.
I'm so excited that you're blooming.